Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to a special edition of the comic book review series. And today I am going to be taking a look at a mini comic book tie-in series to one of the greatest superhero cartoons of all time. And this show helped lay down the foundation for the shared universe that we would come to know as the DCAU. And that is, of course, Batman, the animated series. And the mini tie-in comic book series that I'm talking about is, of course, titled Batman, The Adventures Continue. So just like in the title, Batman, The Adventures Continue picks up from where Batman, the animated series / the new Batman Adventures left off. And what makes this mini tie-in comic book series very unique and very special is it features the DCAU debut of 3 important characters from the Batman mainstream universe, and these 3 characters would play a very big role in the Batman legacy over countless decades. And these characters never appeared in the animated series, and they are Jean-Paul Valley, aka Azarel, Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, and of course Jason Todd, aka Robin / the Red Hood. Now, Jason Todd in particular, as we all know, never appeared in Batman the Animated Series because Bruce Timm and the gang felt that Jason Todd was too dark for the show, so they chose to skip past him and introduce Tim Drake instead, which at the time growing up bothered me a lot because obviously, as we all know, Dick Grayson came first and then Jason Todd came, and as we all know, he was brutally murdered at the hands of the Joker. Now obviously we know that was a story they couldn't tell for the animated series, so The Adventures Continue as a mini comic book series kind of fills in the gaps between Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond. So we're getting a nice treat. We're actually going to get Jason Todd in the DCAU via comic book. And Azarel, as we all know, made his debut in Batman Nightfall. Jean-Paul Valley took the place of Bruce Wayne after he had his back broken at the hands of Bane. And in a way, you could kind of look at Azarel as kind of like this anti-Batman, where he would fight crime, but without Bruce Wayne's rules. So, very pleased to see that Azarel is finally part of the DCAU via comic book. And of course, Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, one of the main heavy hitters of the DC universe. He's been around forever, since the 80s, and he's been a thorn in the side of the Titans, Batman, and just about everyone he's ever met in the DC universe. So he's also making his debut in the DCAUs via the comic book. So very pleased about that. So for today's edition, I'm going to be talking about all 8 issues, so this is going to be a hell of a ride in my opinion. So we're going to start with the first one, issue 1 of Batman, The Adventures Continue. So the art style kind of reminds you of, you know, Gotham Adventures. Now, for those of you who remember, Gotham Adventures was the tie-in comic book series to the new Batman Adventures. So this comic book pretty much stays true to that style. And as you can see there, first appearance of Jason Todd. So we're off to a great start already. And this story is called Hardware. Very good, strong opening. Already sets the tone for, you know, what's to come. And it's really good, you know, for the first series of this kind. We're kicking things off with a bang. So we see Batman facing Bane, and he's fighting a robot, and we get the first appearance of Lex Luthor. Now, obviously, anyone who remembers Superman the Animated Series Season 2 Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne were business partners in the three-part episode World's Finest, and after the Joker got blown to pieces, for now anyway, Lex Luthor was under investigation and questioning for his connection to the Joker and his rampage, and Bruce Wayne cut off all ties from his business relationship with Lex Luthor. So it's nice that we're kind of revisiting that again. You know, just reading the dialogue, I can hear Kevin Conroy and Clancy Brown's voices, so that's pretty cool. And there we are. Like I said, it's a good, strong opening. Now, obviously, everyone who remembers Justice League animated series, we all remember that Lex Luthor was obsessed with trying to revive Brainiac, and we remember that in Justice League Unlimited, Lex Luthor and Brainiac merged to become a sentient being, which came about after Brainiac blasted his information into Lex Luthor. So we can see that Lex Luthor still has Brainiac's remains, and he's kind of made himself a new machine here. So, in a way, for the first issue, you know, to kick things off, we're getting a Superman villain, and you know, there's none bigger than Lex Luthor, in my opinion. So, I would probably say if Lex Luthor is in this story, you could say that maybe this picks up after or before Destroyer, you could say. So, oh, there he is. Brainiac's come online. You can actually hear Corey Burton's voice. Brainiac systems activated. Love that. There's the suit of armor from the Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller graphic novel. Love that costume. I really do. And classic Batman interrogation mode here. Fantastic. So pretty much like classic Lex Luthor, using giant robots to, you know, try and destroy everything. And we also get an appearance from Superman in the first issue. Pretty cool, I think. So, as usual, I like the way that they still keep that classic dynamic of Superman and Batman from the DCAU. You know, Batman doesn't really need Superman's help, but Superman being the optimistic figure that he is, and you know, never gets old. You know, I love their little dynamic. And there is the first appearance of Jason Todd. So, very good, strong opening. Good, strong first issue. Get the first appearance of Lex Luthor. Batman and Lex Luthor going at it. We got to see Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor see each other again for the first time since the end of the three-part World's Finest episode. Jason Todd's there already, hiding in the shadows, waiting in plain sight to make his next move. So, all good stuff here. And we also get a cameo from Superman himself. So, I like it. Good, strong first issue for Batman: The Adventures Continue, Season 1. So, really enjoyed this one so far. So, there we have issue 1 of Batman: The Adventures Continue. So, we move on to issue 2. And yes, there he is, the Terminator himself, Deathstroke. Let's have a look what goes down here. And this is called Mentors Part 1. So again, Jason Todd hiding in the shadows, watching Batman, and we see Batman taking on Clayface. So here we go. Oh, for those of you who remember the episode Growing Pains, Annie was a girl that was made out of clay from Clayface and befriended Tim Drake. So it's cool that we're getting to see her again. I like how Jason's Tim remembers what happened before, so he wasn't going to fall for that again. So that was pretty cool that they revisited that. So, as I said, Jason is still watching everything from shadows. So here is the first appearance of Deathstroke. So Deathstroke comes to Gotham City as kind of like an ally for Batman and for Bat's family, and he more or less takes out Clayface, really. So good, strong first appearance for our favourite Terminator of the DC universe. And Batman obviously knows who this guy is. So this bothered me at first, like how can Batman know who Deathstroke is? But he more or less confirms it here. He pretty much says here, that's the code name I've heard associated with a mercenary who matches your description. So it's pretty cool. I've often wondered if Deathstroke had appeared in the animated series, I wonder who could have voiced him. If this was in the 2000s onwards, so like this show came out in 2012 or something, Manu Bennett would definitely be the voice of Deathstroke. I think that would be pretty cool. So we see Batman and Jim Gordon learning more about Deathstroke. They find out his name is Slade Wilson. So a good start here. So as I said, they've already set the tone. Jason Todd's here already, hiding in the shadows, and now we're getting Deathstroke. So we're off to a pretty epic start, I'd say. So Slade is already charming Batgirl. See, I don't like the idea that Deathstroke would unmask himself so quickly. I always thought he would like to keep his identity a secret. So he's more or less won Batgirl over, although Batman's not having it, which is understandable. Some rare moments are the Bat family actually being a family. So obviously Bruce doesn't trust him. Barbara's more or less saying, we're both good. And Tim's like, yes. All due to Batman's training, of course. And obviously I can hear it in Cornroy's voice as I'm reading this. He's more or less saying, don't put too much stock in his compliments. Ouch. Cold. Stay sharp. If he's after us, he'll tip us his hand in time. Nice. So there we are. They're just all being a family. Of course, Bruce doesn't trust him. Why would he? So we see more or less Deathstroke's gang here. Obviously, Deathstroke's got a score to settle with Batman. I would imagine the girl here must be Raven. I would imagine that's probably Raven. Lovely drawings here. It's very much like the style of the animated series, I must say. Pretty cool, I say. Oh, so obviously Deathstroke's clearly up to no good here. And Robin comes to intervene. Oh yeah. Nice little reference to the Torch Song episode where Firefly kidnaps his ex-girlfriend who's a rock singer. I love that costume. So kind of what's going on here. We've more or less hear about Garfield Lynns, and we pretty much find out that Garfield Lynns did survive. That's Firefly, for those who know who I'm talking about. And he got away, but not unscathed. So we see Garfield Lynns pretty much got burned here. And Deathstroke being one step ahead, he pretty much asks Robin, "I suppose you've told Batman where you are?" "Not exactly. I'm not waiting around." "Who asked you to? I can do backup. I wouldn't have it any other way." Nice. So, oh boy. So we see Batman taking on the Mad Hatter here, and Deathstroke and Robin are kind of working together here. And we get the return of Firefly. So Firefly is back. And we get Robin and Deathstroke versus Firefly. So pretty cool, I say. So that's the second issue of Batman: The Adventures Continue. So Deathstroke, as I said, has come in as an ally to help the Bat family. Batman, of course, doesn't trust him, which is understandable due to his reputation. And we get the return of Firefly as well. And this brings us to issue 3 of Batman: The Adventures Continue. So let's see what goes on here. And this is Mentors Part 2. So it pretty much picks up where we left off, really. So Robin and Deathstroke taking on Firefly here. Let's be honest here. Firefly's no match for Slade Wilson. Let's just be real about it. So we see Batman's coming to the rescue. Robin and Deathstroke are still fighting Firefly. And oh yeah, it's getting good already. Batman and Slade having words. "You've taught him well, as you have your female protege." And obviously Batman's, suspicious. "You take too much interest in them, Slade. I don't like it." "I don't mean any harm. They just happen to be more approachable than you. What are you doing here?" Nice. This is something I definitely would have loved to have seen animated. I think it would have been awesome. And there's Jason looking on. And Bruce realizes that someone's been watching him. So at the moment he's just referred to as a stalker. So "We found someone. Our stalker exists, all right. This is the best we can get from the satellites. He fled right before I got there. We lose him in the shadows." So obviously doing a bit of detective work here, as you can see. "He jumps. To where? The next building's half a block. Perhaps he can fly. They do it all the time in Metropolis." I love that little Superman reference. "He's not flying, he's using extra thin cable. You can barely see it. Even so, he's an extraordinary athlete with extraordinary strength." Oh, getting good now. Oh, yeah. Love it! Lex Luthor and Deathstroke working together. Something we didn't get in the DCEU, unfortunately, apart from one cameo. Such a shame, really. I like it. I like it a lot. So we see Jason's more or less spying on Slade. So let's have a look what else happens here. Oh, getting good. So Batman, of course, still doesn't trust Deathstroke. Oh, yes. Getting good here. So Batman and Deathstroke are reluctant partners, shall we say. and they take out Firefly. Oh yeah. So we there we are. So obviously Deathstroke's turned now. But let's face it, he was always a bad guy anyway. So we see Slade gets taken out. Shame we I kind of would have liked to have seen Batman and Deathstroke go at it, but you know, it is what it is. So that's how we end it there. Jason is watching. So there's a cool bit of dialogue here. I still don't understand how this note told you where to find Batman. It was stuck in a book about old Gotham, in a chapter about the building of the Tri-State Dam. I just put 2 and 2 together. Yes, we did. You know what this means? He knows who I am. And if he knows who I am, and then we hear Bruce say, he knows everything, even what our opponents are doing. The question is, what does he want? And why this cat and mouse game? Ooh. So that concludes issue 3. Good issue. Love the fact that Deathstroke is working with Lex Luthor. I just think that's pretty cool that we got that in the DCAU. And of course, Jason is hiding in the background. He's hiding in the shadows, watching Batman, Robin, and Batgirl's every move. And, you know, Deathstroke coming forward as an ally at first and then quickly turning. But I thought it was quite cool that just for that brief time, we actually got to see everyone working together to fight Firefly. So that's pretty awesome. So let's move on to the next issue. This is issue 4 of Batman. The Adventures Continue. And this features the DCAU debut of one of my all-time favourite characters, Jean-Paul Valley, aka Azarel. So, looks just like the Phantasm, Mask of the Phantasm. And this one's called The Darker Knight. So, Catwoman's back. I never did like the redesign of Catwoman. I like the first one, the grey look. I think that's much better. So we pretty much see here that Catwoman has stolen something from Azrael's cult. Big mistake. I would imagine if Azarel appeared in the animated series, he would have had some sort of Death March theme score like the Phantasm did in the movie. So we see Azarel and Batman going at it, while we see Jason Todd looking on. So yeah, I gotta say, never a dull moment. Nice. Oh boy, Azarel has Alfred. Not good. But pardon me, sir, but your presence is requested at home as soon as possible. You have a visitor. Scary. So there we have the first official appearance of Jean-Paul Valley. Excellent. Now listen to this bit of dialogue here from Jean-Paul. I always harboured a suspicion that the famous Batman was you, Bruce. It wasn't until we fought tonight, but I knew for sure. I always admired your defensive skills, even as a student. Is that why you're taken to wearing that costume? You know what they say, when in Rome. I felt tracking down the cat would be more effective if I had more imposing armour, more akin to the infamous Dark Knight. I was right. Gotham's lowlifes were always eager to assist me. Perhaps too imposing, Jean-Paul. It's Azarel. Now, the name given me by the clerics, I wonder what they would have called you. Too bad I couldn't stick around long enough to find out. Oh, I really wish we could have got this as an animated episode or even a movie. There he is, the penguin. I'm delighted to have you in my humble nest. Just before I take in the atmosphere. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's my man right there. Classic Azarel. Blue, yellow, dark metallic armour, red eyes. Can't beat it. So we see the two Batmen going at it with the penguin and what appears to be like some sort of giant bird. Oh, I love it. And you think Batman's a nightmare at interrogating. And also Jason Todd, still watching. Love it. Love it. And Mr. Freeze shall come. Brilliant. Azarel versus Mr. Freeze. Love it. Love it. That's cold. Pun intended. Yeah. This is awesome stuff. I don't like the idea. I never did like the idea of Mr. Freeze just being a head on mechanical legs. Kind of reminds me of Dr. Pretorius from The Mask. Just not in a good way. Batman helping the anti-Batman. Well, there's a twist. So, there we go. There's John Paul and Bruce. So they've managed to recover what was stolen. And that's the first appearance of the Joker. So that wraps up issue 4 of Batman: The Adventures Continue. Very fun issue. Loved seeing Azarel in that metallic classic armor from the Nightfall comic book. Loved that. Got to see him and Azarel, Batman and Azarel fighting Mr. Freeze and the Penguin. So, good stuff here. I loved it. Great fun. So, we've already seen so far Jason Todd's watching in the background. He knows every one of the Bat family's moves. We've seen Deathstroke appear. We've seen Azarel appear. So, where this is all going to. So let's get right into it. Let's bring us to issue 5 of Batman: The Adventures Continue. And yes, Red Hoodie in the DCAU. Nice. And this story is called Red Sun Rising, Part 1. So there's Jason getting ready, hiding in the shadows. Very similar attire to what Roy Harper would wear in the Arrow series. Kind of reminds me of. So this is getting good now. Here's the good part here. Here we go. Your dinner was getting cold, sir, so I've taken the liberty of bringing it down here. Have you managed to identify any gun prints on the gun? Sir, not on the gun. The bullets. They belong to Jason Todd. It can't be possible. I've examined it over and over, Alfred. It's his prints. It's him. This explains our stalker, too. How he knows who we are. How he's able to anticipate our moves. It's him. I just know it. Bruce, he's dead. You saw for yourself. Oh, here we go. Tim's reaction here. This is where the good part comes now. I thought so. All the clues pointed to someone who could have only been part of this team. Who's this Jason? He was the second Robin, wasn't he? I can't do this now. I've got to get out there. Come on. You never talk about him. I need to know what's going on. I'm as much your partner as he was. You owe me this. Tell him, Alfred. Tell him everything. So, last we're finally getting the full story of Jason Todd. So let's see how it goes down, DCAU style. Nice. It begun with the Mob Wolves, Master Tim. Wolves? The street gang, mostly young punks, as predatory as their name. So, this is the first time we're getting the full DCAU origin of Jason Todd in Batman the Animated Series. As I said, they just kind of like skipped over him, but I've always liked the idea that, you know, Jason Todd was the one person that Batman never talked about, which totally makes sense because, you know, of the way Jason Todd died. And obviously I know why they couldn't do that story for that kind of cartoon. You know, obviously we got Batman under the Red Hood, but we never really got it in the DCAU, so this is pretty good here. So let's see what else goes down here. Here we are. So he more or less takes Jason in. And I like the way Alfred says you could say he considered him a kindred spirit, because I can definitely relate to that. So we see him training with Barbara Gordon. Really makes you wish that this was animated. Awesomes. So we, you know, Jason Todd was obviously more of a handful than Dick Grayson, because, you know, Dick Grayson, as he got older, he got more hot-headed, but, you know, he still listened and, you know, respected Bruce. But here, Jason Todd's nothing like Dick Grayson. We see over the course of the years, Jason would battle Ventriloquist and Scarface, Lockup, and Scarecrow as well. It's good stuff here. And I think this was the moment where things start to take a bit of a dark turn here. As you can see. Now, of course, Joker is watching this, so we all know where this is going. Batman and Alfred having words. I love it. It sparked an extreme fight or flight reaction that forced him to lash out in fear. That's the only credible explanation for what happened. No, that's the only one you accept. Drop it. Oh yeah, this is good. Jason Todd fly kicking Bruce. You never trusted me, any of you. So what we're seeing here is Bruce has more or less got Jason's files. So yeah, this is where things start to get very, very interesting. Oh. The world's greatest detective. Took you longer than I thought. But I knew you'd figure it out eventually. First place we met and all. It's no way manner, but sentimental value, you know. Jason, what happened? Where have you been? Sorry I never wrote. You gave me up for dead, right? After that wild night at Joker's. So I didn't think there was much point. I searched everywhere for you. Well, I have to admit, if there was one useful skill I learned from you, it was how to pull a vanishing act. I decided to take a few years off, figure out who I really am. after recovering from the massive blood loss and physical trauma, of course. Also worked up a new look. So, what we're led to believe here is Jason survived his horrific beatdown at the hands of the Joker and disappeared. I preferred it when Jason was, and then brought back to life through the Lazarus pit. But, I think if this actually happened, we would have got Jensen Ackles doing the voice of the Red Hood. So, yeah, here we go. You once said, all I ask is a chance. That's all I'm asking now. Please. Here we go. So, that's how we end it. Very cryptic, but very epic. Nice. So, we now see that Jason Todd is alive and well. Got the full origin told by Alfred. Although I probably would have preferred if Bruce was the one to tell the story. Just would have made more sense, but Alfred doing it was fine. So, Batman knows that Jason Todd is alive and well, and now he's the Red Hood. So, took some time off to recover and basically create a whole new persona for himself. So, this is going to take us straight into issue 6 of Batman. The adventures continue. Getting good now. And this is called Red Sun Rising, Part 2. Here we are. Don't be afraid. He won't hurt you. I'm not scared that's Batman. He'd never hurt a kid. Unless her name's Jason. So, there we are. So I'm guessing this is more flashback than anything else. And Leslie Tompkins is giving Bruce the 3rd degree. He was wild. You let him run wild. I was going to end it, Leslie. You know that. I was going to take him off the street for good, but he bolted. I tried to find him. I looked everywhere. That doesn't get you off the hook, Bruce. He wasn't just another runaway kid who disappears into the night. He was your responsibility. Mine, Alfred's, all of ours. You made us all culpable in what's happened. I'm sorry. Go now, please. I don't mean to lash out at you, Bruce. I know you've been hurt more than anyone, but maybe there's a bigger cost to what happened. Maybe your Batman needs to be laid to rest. So, Alfred's still continuing the story of what's happened. I like that. Love that. So, this is all leading up to that fateful night. Oh, look. The man who killed Batman. Remember him? Yeah. Yeah. A big shot at last. So, here we go. Getting near to it now. So, Jason very foolishly takes on the Joker himself. Yeah, we kind of know where this is going. Yeah. It's not going to be pretty. Kind of reminds me of the night that Tim Drake got abducted. But after you see what happens here, I think Tim Drake got off quite lightly compared to Jason. So Alfred's still continuing the story. I like here for the first time we actually see Tim being serious. Joker's got the crowbar. So, yeah, Joker's giving him a good old whooping. And you know Joker's going too far when even Harley's getting concerned. Even Harley says here, roughing the punk is one thing, but killing him? See, that's interesting because Harley Quinn's nuts, but she's got ethics. She knows where to draw the line. But even here, she's like starting to questioning that maybe Joker's going a bit too far. So blooding him with the crowbar. So yeah, here we go. You know how this ends. Oh, poor Jason. No matter what you might think of him, he didn't deserve this. So we see here Jason got blown up here. And there we go. What the? Jason Todd impersonated Batman. Scary. Even there, takes out Alfred as well. Good stuff here. Very, very good. So that wraps up issue 6 of Batman: The Adventures Continue. Good stuff here. So now we move on to issue 7 of Batman: The Adventures Continue. It's getting good now. Getting very, very good. So this is Red Sun Rising Part 3. So Alfred has more or less told Tim Drake the entire story of what happened to Jason Todd, and we see Jason impersonated Batman, took out Alfred, and kidnapped Tim Drake. So here we go. Oh yes. Getting good now. Getting very good. Let's go. Nice. So we see Joker and Penguin more or less working together. Oh my god. Oh yeah, here we go. Business has picked up here. Red Hood in the Iceberg Lounge. Here we go. Nice. Oh yeah. Definitely would love to have seen this animated. Let's see what else happens. Woohoo! Getting good. So scores have been settled here for sure. Oh yes. So Red Hood's blasted Joker. I like it. What name for a henchman? Straight man. Oh yes. So we see Jason more or less falls seemingly to his death here. So I never will come back with us, Jason. For how long? Until I can't live up to your code again? I can't change who I am, Bruce. I tried. Look where we are now. What makes you think next time will be any different? Batman, the whole place is coming down. You're off the hook, Batman. Save the Robin who needs you. Jason! Oh my God. There's no sign of Jason either. I made a terrible mistake with Jason. I wonder if I hadn't made it with all of you. At least at the end, he knew you would never abandon him. Jason made his choice, just like we have, and we're not going anywhere. So Jason's not dead. Slade found him. So it looks like they're going to be working together. Yeah, great issue. Great series, I must say. Really love the idea that Red Hood kidnaps Tim Drake, Joker, and Batman. So obviously scores them settle there. And, you know, the way it all ended, you know, Jason falling to his death, saying, save the Robin who needs you. Seriously, got to make this into an animated movie or an animated series. We need it. Really, really good. So this is going to bring us to the final issue of Batman The Adventures Continue. And this is a Christmas special. This is issue 8 of the series. And judging by the cover, you know, it's like Holiday Nights revisited in a way. This is called Secret Santa, and this is with the ventriloquist. So, as you can see. Yeah, it's good. It's enjoyable. But, you know, after you've come off the Deathstroke and Azarel and Red Hood stuff, yeah, I suppose it's not so bad. As you can see here. So we see the ventriloquist has gone straight. He's gone legit. So he's on parole. He's been released just before Christmas. So there we are. Arnold Wesker's doing some Christmas shopping. So this is kind of like similar to the Double Talk episode, you know, where Arnold Wesker went straight and his old gang was trying to lure him back in to get Scarface back on the scene. So yeah, there we go. Oh no. There's a Harley Quinn. Don't be so formal. Call me Harley. Okay, very well, Miss Harley. So it's more or less been invited to a villain's Christmas party at the Iceberg Lounge. Crazy. Oh look, we even get a baby doll. Crazy. But yeah, it's just more or less like Christmas. You can look at it like it's a Christmas episode in a way. As you can see. Yeah, not much else happens here. Just, well, you know, they're trying to get Scarface back again. Joker and Scarface working together. Seem to remember that in The Batman. Yeah, I seem to remember that in The Batman, like, you know, a number of years ago. So, there we go. And of course, typical Joker, never trust him, turns on Wesker and Scarface. So Joker gets taken out and Batman and Robin save the day. And that's New Year's Eve, so we get a happy ending for Arnold Wesker, and Scarface gets destroyed again. So I suppose it's kind of nice that we end season 1 on a happy note. So there you have it. Issue 8. So you could kind of look at this as like Holiday Nights Part 2 in a way. But yeah, overall, great mini-series. Issues 1 to 8, fantastic. Love the way Jason Todd's origin story was handled. Love the way Deathstroke was introduced. Would have liked to have seen Batman and Deathstroke go at it. Seen Azarel in the classic, metallic armor. That was cool as well. I thought this was a great, mini-series. Only thing I would have liked to have seen when Alfred was telling Tim Drake what happened, we should have got, the classic pulling Jason's body out of the rubble, because that's such a powerful, iconic image. We should have got that, really. But I respect the fact they wanted to change it up a bit. But yeah, this is really good. I really enjoyed this a lot. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on Batman The Adventures Continue Season 1? Did you enjoy it? Do you think they did a good job with the way they handled Jason Todd's origin story? Was there anything you would have liked to have changed? Do you think the way they handled Deathstroke was well done? Do you think maybe we should have got Batman versus Deathstroke? And also, what was your thoughts about the way they incorporated Azarel into the DCAU? Do you think that was well done too? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will be back next time for another edition of the comic book review series, where I'm going to be talking about Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2. So make sure you don't miss that. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.